So, hello everybody. Uh, TV is dead. This is what we've been hearing for a very long time now, for almost the last decade. Well, TV is long from being dead, although it is really hard for us to argue with the figures. I mean, if you look at the figures about video, about YouTube, and the consumption of online videos and online content, it's really hard to argue with this argument. However, at Initiative, we actually think that, with the growth of digital, that's a really good thing for TVs in general. And we're going to show you why. Actually, we believe that TV has found its new power, and the new power of TV does not only lie in, the consumption of video online, but in social. We've formulated our ideas or our conclusions based on a survey that we've conducted over 4 continents across 8 markets with almost more than 8,000 respondents. And actually what we're trying to figure out is what are the synergies between TV viewership and social media, and does social media actually amplify TV, or is it the other way around? We found out that from that research that there are so many commonalities across these 8 markets that we surveyed that we can actually get these conclusions and apply them almost everywhere in the world. I'm going to take you really quickly about some of the exciting findings. So today I'm going to talk about 4 things. The synergies between TV and social media. We're going to introduce you to a new segment, which we creatively called the TV Talker. We're going to talk about how brands can unlock the power of TV through social media, and some of the work from here, from the region, from the Middle East, that actually builds on this. Well, one of our first findings was that 85% of respondents, or of people, TV viewers in general, talk about TV shows. Now, this is not a revelation, it's not something new. When people are watching TV, they call a friend, or when they meet the next day, they tell them, did you watch this show yesterday, etc. So they talk about what's happening on TV. But what was really interesting is that more than half are actually having these conversations online on social media. And that's quite an interesting finding. In fact, it's not only TV that is fueling social media, it's also the other way around, where 28% of all TV viewers have started watching a specific TV program because there was a conversation on social media. So not only is TV fueling social media, but it's working in the other direction as well. And we've also found that there is a very interesting group that is not really small. It's about 22% of total TV viewers that we call the TV talkers. They talk about TV programs almost every day. So these are people who watch TV. TV fuels their conversations. They talk about these programs, and they have a huge followership. What's really interesting as well is that amongst these TV viewers, or these TV talkers, 61% actually agreed that they started watching much more TV because it fuels their conversation and gives them topics to talk about. So they're watching much more programs, they're watching much more episodes to be able to actually talk more about it. But that finding was not really consistent across all markets, because there was a lot of variation amongst the markets about who talks more, etc. And we found that in some markets, like the US and China, there's much more TV talk than in other markets, such as Australia and Netherlands. And we tried to understand why. So when we got a bit deeper into it, we found out that in markets like China and the US, where there's an avid followership of pop culture and of celebrity news, this is when TV talk was at its prime. In other markets where they don't really follow a lot of celebrity news, that was a bit lower. Now, why is that important? Because we're in the business of advertising, and advertising is very correlated to pop culture and to celebrity following. So the more there is TV talk, the more there is a possibility or likelihood to actually mention ads to friends. So they're not only talking about the TV programs that they're watching, but also they're talking a lot about the ads that they're seeing on TV. Okay. And they're not only talking about ads, they're actually talking about ads very enthusiastically. Like 58% talk about ads at least once a week, but there is almost a third of all TV viewers, of the TV talkers, that are actually talking about the ads each and every day. And these people who are talking about the ads, they have huge followership. So if you look at them and you look at the average TV viewer, you see that they have much larger social circles. So they're talking to much more people, be it face-to-face, online, and face-to-face, or simply online. These are friends that they know from social media alone. And not only that, they do have a lot of influence on buying behavior. So these are the people that friends go to ask them about opinions about brands, about what to buy and how to buy it. And that becomes really important for marketers. So basically, the TV talkers are a powerful ally. They're 22% of all the TV viewers. They're watching TV to fuel their conversations, and they're talking about brands frequently, and they have a lot of influence on purchase through their social circles. Now we try to understand what are the behaviors that actually drive the stock. Now obviously that's different from market to market. The first thing is that the genre of programs is really important. In some markets you see the news being really important, in others you see reality programs, and in others you see series. But what's really important and consistent across all these markets is that the talk is happening across different devices. So be it through mobile, through PCs, laptops, tablets, etc. But one thing that came out from this is that there is a huge preference today, and that's growing, for having instant conversations. Now, whenever there's multiple usage of devices, you also see that there's multitasking. So they're using these devices simultaneously. They're watching TV, they have their mobile in their hands and their tablet or PC. So the conversation is happening across different platforms. And we think that this is really important. Why? Because it allows us to be able to talk to these viewers across different platforms as well, and to surround them with our key message. One thing that is, again, really important is the preference of these TV talkers to actually use platforms that allow them, to post their views instantly. Most talk is actually happening around the program. So, for example, if we have an audience watching Idol, for example, most talk is happening just before the program starts, during commercial breaks, during the program, right after it stops. And a much lower number of conversations is happening after the program itself. So our strategies need to focus on that time, or that time period, where we're actually capturing the audience watching the program. As you can see, around 43% of TV talkers post during the show, while 36% post during commercial breaks. And this is why we're saying that they're not only talking about the show, but they're also talking about the ads. And I think that one good example is what was happening during the Super Bowl, and we saw that in one of the presentations just now. Here in the region, we've had an experience with TV talkers, and that experience was on one brand that we manage, which is KFC. It was one of the main sponsors of Arabs Got Talent. So what we did is we had this whole 360 campaign with everything about revolving around it, like in-store, social media, on-ground activation, etc. What was really interesting is that we created a special segment that we called a super fan. And that special segment had people who could post a question that was asked live during the show, during the live episode. So they can ask a jury, they can ask a contestant, etc., about any question that they wanted. And the really interesting feature about all of this is that it had a mobile application to go with it, whereby viewers could buzz, post their opinions on Twitter, Facebook, etc., and even have exclusive access to content, like a 360-degree camera in the studio. I'm not going to bore you with the details. I'll just show you a small video that talks about it.
KFC was keen to protect its position as the lead quick service restaurant and create brand love amongst its core youth segment. To do this, we needed to increase KFC's brand favorability and engagement amongst the Middle Eastern youth. Our strategy was to make KFC Arabia become the go-to guy for insider access to the region's coolest places, events, and personalities. And by doing so, create KFC superfans. With Arab's Got Talent Season 2 about to start, we knew it was the perfect opportunity to converge KFC and Arab's Got Talent fans. The result would create a super fan base. To achieve this, we built an integrated communication campaign. An astounding amount of KFC superfans were delivered. Facebook fans increased from 537,000 to 1 million. Brand favorability increased with superfans describing KFC as awesome, cool, and extraordinary. Emirati teens voted KFC as their #1 favorite brand. And even more importantly, KFC increased sales by 9% as well as a 12% increase in transactions.
So obviously, this campaign had a very good result, be it on the brand equity and or on sales and transactions. What are the key learnings that we have for marketers? The first one is, because of the use of multiple devices and different forms or different platforms, we definitely need to create a fully orchestrated experience. But what's really important is to leverage on the live TV moment where most of the conversation is actually happening. By turning these TV talkers not just people who are talking about the programs, but live reporters who are talking about the programs, but also talking about the brands. We need to maximize TV talk, as said, across the different platforms. And the way we should do that is not by having the same elements across all the different platforms, but having specific content that goes into the specific different platforms. For example, things that should go on mobile should be snackable, short content, while things that go on PC can be more developed. But the most important thing is to have a brand story and to tell it across different platforms. And it's very important for us as marketers to actually engage with the conversation. We need to talk, listen, and interact with these TV talkers. I mean, at the end of the day, if we want them to be good to the brands, we need to be good to them and talk to them as well. And definitely investing in analytics. We need to think of TV talkers as an investment. It's something that we need to nurture and grow. And we need to prove their value on brand equity. In the case of KFC, the one that I just showed you, I mean, that was very prominent. KFC was found to be the youth's favorite brand in the UAE, and it was because of that execution. So it's very important to link up, the effect of TV talk to the brand's performance and the brand's equity, and this is a long-term investment. And finally, we need to test and learn. Things are moving so fast, and technology is developing so fast, and social media is developing so fast, that we need to continuously be learning and developing our ways of reaching these TV talkers as they develop themselves. That's it. Thank you.